Hey, welcome to Everyday Reviews. Check this out. This is the 2025 Lexus GX550. A few months ago, we had a chance to test out the brand new Toyota Land Cruiser, and even though it shares the same platform as this GX, there's quite a few differences between the two. So let's have a look. Okay, style-wise, this is where it's subjective. Let me know what you think of the style, first of all. Personally, I love the style of this GX. Land Cruiser looks great. It's definitely more traditional. This has a more modern, angular look. You got these big power domes on the front hood here. It looks wide. It has lots of straight lines with the spindle grille here. Standard triple projector headlamps, and there's that signature boomerang LED daytime running light. We have washers here. Now, one big difference between the front end of this and the Toyota Land Cruiser, though, is that one actually has a modular bumper. So if you're out bashing around in the woods, one of the most common areas you might actually hit something, and maybe a small tree or something like that, would be the side. And on that one, you can replace sections of the bumper. On this one though, you're gonna have to replace that whole piece. So think about that. If you're gonna be out bashing around with your SUV, you might wanna consider that Land Cruiser. Coming around to the side, I like the profile of the new GX. It's very boxy. I like boxy things. It seems to be really in right now. Now, there are a few trims. There's the Overtrail or the Overtrail Plus, which is their off-road version. This is the luxury trim. The base wheels are 20-inch. This gets 22-inch wheels. And if you go for the Overtrail, you get 18-inch wheels with large 33-inch all-terrain tires. Now, dimension-wise, this vehicle has the same wheelbase as a Land Cruiser. However, it's a few inches longer, it's a little bit taller, but it's a little bit more narrow on here. Coming around the back here, when you open the door though, the opening is not huge. I wish this door would actually open further. If you do want to roll the rear window down though, it rolls all the way down, which is a big, big plus. The rear continues on that boxy, flat type of trend. We have a substantial bumper, a nice trailer hitch cover here, and here's one of my favorite things. Press that and the rear glass pops up. I remember we had that on our Highlander. Absolutely love it for just throwing in your gym bag or some groceries really quick without having to open up the hatch entirely. But I found another good use for it because I was carrying a bunch of gear and some groceries and everything else, and it's handy for opening this up, and maybe things actually shifted during your transport, and before you open it up on a hill like this and things fall out, you can actually adjust things first before you do it. Like this bag here, I will move over because it moved, and then you can close that off. Now, other than the base trim, they all come with a standard hands-free power liftgate. Up it comes. And because of that nice square flat design, you are left with this great, great big opening, and it's so flat here that you can use basically the height almost right to the edge of the door entrance here. Now you see we do have a third row. We do have also headrests. Now, other than the Overtrail, they all come standard with 3 rows, and also standard, you get the power third row seat as well, just like that. You're not gonna get a huge amount of room, but the fact that this has a third row, if you go for the Land Cruiser, that only comes as a 2-row vehicle, mainly because that has a hybrid system, and that's where they put the batteries there. So lots of room. When you have it here, you can load it right up, tons of room. Of course, if you need maximum room, you can fold that second row down. They also tumble forward to get access into the third row. It's almost a completely flat floor. There's a small little difference of height though. On the inside of this new GX, it's very, very well laid out. It's kind of similar to the Land Cruiser in that I like how they've integrated the screen. Some of them, other manufacturers just stick a screen in the center. It's really, really obnoxious. This is actually fairly integrated into the dash. Now you do get larger standard screens on this GX over the Land Cruiser. So you get a standard 12.3-inch driver display as well as a 14-inch Lexus interface, and that is up from 12.3 for the Land Cruiser. You do get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We first saw this new system in the new Lexus NX when it came out. It's fairly easy to use. You also get a standard panoramic camera on the GX as well. And I think they've done a pretty good job. You do have actual knobs to adjust your temperature. However, there are no hard buttons. There's very few buttons on here for your climate control. That's all done through the screen, but at least what they've done is they've made like a hard dock. So those functions are always on the screen, regardless of where you are or what you're doing on your screen there. So I do like how they have thought about that. Space-wise, pretty decent space in the center. You got a glove box, a little cubby kind of area in front of the passenger. One thing to note though, I do find the side pockets in the door panels are a little bit narrow. So even a kind of a medium-sized Yeti, my mug or my water bottle does not really fit in there. You really have to cram it in. So it'd be nice if they put a little bit more of a bulge there. This does have a power sunroof with a shade. Seat-wise, we have power seats with memory as well. Heated in the front, standard heated rear seats as well, ventilation in the front and massage. And the best thing about this massage is instead of what a lot of other companies do, they give you massage just in your back. This one's back and butt. Because you know what? Your butt gets tired when you're driving a long time, and it's pretty decent. So thank you, Lexus, for that. Now the massage is part of the luxury package that this is. So we also get a head-up display, also the 23-speaker Mark Levinson system. Pretty decent system, I'd say, for this size of vehicle. Now this screen's great for displaying the panoramic or multi-terrain camera, depending on which trim you get. And they have this feature, you can see through the vehicle. Yeah, I've seen it before, but it just works so well with this screen. And I can see it very handy if you're doing some off-roading as well. You're being able to see what you've cleared and when it's actually behind you. Now, one of the biggest differences between the GX and the Land Cruiser, which is kind of making it a winner for me, though, is this is available where it comes with 3 rows of seats with a standard power third row. Unless you go for the Overtrail or Overtrail Plus, which is more of the off-road version, those come as just only a 2-row, but all others come as a 3-row, 7-passenger vehicle, unless you go for the top-of-line executive in Canada, where you do get 2 captain seats for the 2nd row. You also get tri-zone climate control. Rear seats have their own climate control back there. Even the 3rd row, although it's not huge, it is good in a pinch. We actually had 5 girls in the back seats there, no complaints whatsoever. So if you find yourself needing an extra seat or 2, this GX should be considered for sure over the Land Cruiser. All right, on the road with the new GX. Hey, there are some big differences between this and the Land Cruiser, definitely under the hood, because this has a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6, where the Land Cruiser is using the 2.4 hybrid engine. This puts out more horsepower at 349 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, which is more than the Land Cruiser, and also this goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission opposed to an 8-speed automatic. And I do notice it though, because the ratios are closer. You do feel like you're always in the meat, and there's very, very little lag. Just regardless of what gear you're in or even what mode, you always seem like there's lots of torque right at hand on here. Now, speaking of torque and power, towing is up on the GX as well. Depending on what trim you get of the GX, it is as much as 9,000 pounds. This one in the luxury trim is rated for just over 7,000 pounds, which is still more than what the Land Cruiser is rated for. So if you are into towing, or find yourself towing more often, or heavier things, you may want to consider this over the Land Cruiser for sure. Now, we talk about trims a lot because there are a few trims, and these are Canadian trims, but they are very similar. And in Canada, you do get your regular, you get your premiums, and then you get your luxury like this, or you get the executive. Those are all with the 3 rows, but the Overtrail, that's what we mentioned before. There's Overtrail, Overtrail Plus. You're gonna get 18-inch wheels and all-terrain tires. You're getting skid plates on there. Also, big deal, you're getting adaptive and dynamic kinetic suspension system. So you get your adaptive suspension. You can also get that executive, by the way. But if you're doing some off-roading, what happens is, on the Land Cruiser, you do have a setting where you can disconnect your sway bar to get more articulation if you're going and doing some really gnarly stuff. Well, this one, it actually does it for you. And it's a very advanced system. You can disconnect and reconnect your sway bar for you on here. So definitely more rugged, but the Land Cruiser does have better approach and departure angles. But let's face it, if you're spending over $100,000 on a brand new vehicle, are you going to be taking it off-road? And I'm not talking cottage roads or logging roads. I'm talking, real gnarly stuff through rock beds and getting tires off the ground. Most likely not. So this is going to be still really capable. For the Overtrail, you also get the multi-terrain select, which gives you different off-road modes. You do not get that with the standard or the luxury that we have right now. You know what? If you're not taking it off-road, you really don't need them at all. On here, you do have your drive modes, and we have our standard sport, normal, and eco. Pretty standard. Vehicles like this, I normally just leave them in normal for sure. So yeah, ride-wise on here, even without the adaptive suspension, it's a little bit on the trucky side. It's not what you would expect from, if you're expecting a real smooth, silky Lexus ride. You don't get that, but you know what? This vehicle is not made for that anyways. This Lexus is equipped with all the latest and greatest safety and advanced driving features like, adaptive cruise, lane tracing, cross traffic, all of that stuff. But one thing that I didn't record because I didn't have a camera with me that I found was really cool is I was on the freeway, and through the system, it actually said, an audio voice came and says, "Hey, braking up ahead." And it gave me about 3 or 4 minute notice. So 3 or 4 minutes later, I would come up to traffic that had slowed or almost even stopped. And it happened fairly often because it was a long weekend, a lot of traffic, and it was very accurate. And that was the first time I've actually kind of experienced that type of warning. It was really good. So you're asking, Brian, which one do I get? Land Cruiser or GX? I say, hey, they're both great vehicles. It depends on your needs. If you don't need a third row and you're into off-roading, like hardcore off-roading, I say go for something like a base Land Cruiser and then modify it from there. Tweak that suspension, put the bigger wheels and tires on it, all that stuff that you're gonna do that's gonna help you, enjoy the off-roads even more and do some rock crawling, all that stuff. But if you're looking at a higher trim level Land Cruiser, first of all, like that first edition, well, that goes for $94,000 Canadian, by the way. Check with your local Lexus website to see how much it is in your area. But you're getting into GX territory, and the GX comes with a lot of standard features for that. So yeah, it's tough. Now this luxury edition here, it's the same price as the Overtrail Plus in Canada. It goes for $105,000, so it's $11,000 more, but you're getting a lot of vehicle. You're getting more power. You're getting a V6. Some people don't like the hybrid powertrain with the Land Cruiser. With a 4-cylinder, you get V6, you get more towing capacity. You're getting a third row. As we mentioned, that's available on the GX. And lastly, you're driving a Lexus for not much more. So For me, I would actually get either this Luxury or the Overtrail Plus. They're both the same price. You get lots of goodies with them: the head-up display, the massaging seats, the 21 speaker Mark Levinson system. However, on the Overtrail, I love the look of those 18-inch wheels and bigger all-terrain tires. I don't really need the skid plates and all that, but I do like the look of that. However, you do not get a third row with the Overtrail. If I was in the market and I had that type of money, I would probably go for the GX. So let me know, what do you think? Which one would you get? Leave a comment below. And as always, thank you so much for the support, and make sure like and subscribe. See you in the next review. Ciao.